Hello world and welcome to Code or Not to Code. I'm Millie Eva and I'm very, very happy to be here today. And I'm here with Stefan. How are you doing?
I messed up the intro. It's been a while.
Yeah,
it's been a while.
So yeah, we've got something for our blooper reel, definitely. But it's really good to see you all back, and it's good to be back as well. Yeah, if you're new to this show, Stefan and I are old friends, and all of this started because I went up to him and said, "Hey, can you teach me some C#?" And that's literally what I'm here for today again as well. A couple of years later, we meet and code together and learn together and have some fun along the way as well. We build some really, really, really cool projects or things live here on stream. Everything is live coded, so you can also enjoy episodes of us debugging something for 3 hours. But that's just the joy of coding, I guess. And if you're interested in seeing any of our previous shows, you can hit us up on one of our channels. I guess the YouTube channel would be good for that, but also give us a follow on any of your preferred social medias, because well, we started the year being really, really consistent with our streams, and we've kind of lost a bit of that consistency due to conflicting schedules and Stefan traveling across the world, teaching the world wonderful things and giving really, really good talks that you can probably also see on his social media. We should just put that up as well, because you've been to some really, really cool
should be all on our channel.
Conferences.
Yes. But not only me, you too.
Yeah, I did that last year, and it was also my fault that it is a bit inconsistent, but I don't have great excuses, so for me, my excuse is just me. But no, we are back, and
limited.
Time is limited, and it's such a shame that I guess sometimes, life just makes you, it just gives you a limited amount of hours and a lot of responsibilities. Yes, and we've also, hi Eric, thanks so much for joining. We've missed you. And also, we did do a different project that we started. So we had our very first gaming stream as well. So now we're proper streamers. We still struggle a little bit with the setup. So I'm actually quite comfortable like being back to this setup, even though I do realize that we just messed up the intro. But it does feel a lot more familiar. But yeah, we've been playing It Takes Two, which is a wonderful game, and I love it. And I had so much fun, even though you had to put up this particular scene, didn't you? Because
it was just I just randomly
about 25 attempts, because I kept getting killed by these nails raining down on me. And then I was always hoping, because I was already like close to the other side, that I would respawn on the other side. But no, every time I would respawn right back at the beginning. But no, yes. And we did.
I'm searching my favorite scene. This was my favorite scene.
Yeah. I'm so glad that you enjoy the flying, because I hate it. The steering. I mean, I much prefer the shooting.
Whereas you kicked some squirrel butt, haven't you? I'm not sure if you can find the frame.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, it was just a very brief scene at the end of the plane.
Oh yeah, then it kind of turned into a beat 'em up. That's really cool. Like the different genres combined. I really like the game.
Yeah, highly recommend. All right, but hello, welcome back. It's really good to see all the familiar faces.
I wonder what Toast Turret is now turning into.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see.
We also got Jason back.
Yes, we are back. Jason, thanks for joining. Right. Well, we are finally, we have the gaming stream was really, really fun, but don't worry, we have got plenty of game ahead of us. So yeah, maybe even with a slightly better setup, hopefully next time. And so that will be even better than the first episode.
Yeah, the audio levels are a bit, well, schlecht. Sehr schlecht.
Really?
Like the game sound is super loud and our voices are super low.
Oh, okay. Well, that's I guess I prefer it this way around because I remember screaming a lot. But yeah, I cannot control myself when I'm gaming. Right. So yeah, it's been a while. But what is time, right? And which brings us to the trivia section of our stream.
Well, when you got time in .NET, let's go into just the program that we have here, which we left pretty much unchanged since last time. All the comments are there as well. When it's about, if you want to get the time of now, well, you would say datetime.now. But datetime.now is depending on the machine, so even better, you would say .datetime UTC now. But the best option would be you use datetime offset, since if you are using a local time, then with that offset, you also know, like our current offset barrier is currently +2. So like best option is to use the datetime offset over a regular datetime, and you can get the machine depending, including an offset now or the UTC now. And what if we have a test or want to simulate the passage of time? Let's say we have a test where we want to simulate that 7 minutes have passed. Maybe we have a task that is scheduled every 7 minutes. Now, would we need to wait for 7 minutes in our test? That would be kind of, not so good. Tests should be, there is the first, okay, now I'm embarrassing myself because I'm not sure if I can decipher that. There is the first approach. Just turning off the assistant because it's always assuming and predicting what I'm going to do. It should be fast. A test should be, I forgot the I. I think I forgot all of the, let's just look it up. Test first. What would that be called? Acronym? Yes.
Yes.
Fast, isolated and independent, repeatable, self-validating, and thorough. Yeah, and if we would wait for 7 minutes, the test would not be fast. And also not isolated, as it would be depending on the passage of time. And since time is relative, maybe it passes slower on some system. I'm making things up now.
Yeah, I think the first point would definitely be in violation of the first point.
Jason was putting in, well, there was a bit of a delay between stream and chat if it was idempotent, but I guess that should fit too, because if I execute a test twice, it shouldn't make other tests fail or something. So I guess this should also be true. Yes. So how can we mock the passage of time in, I forgot in which version of .NET, .NET 8, .NET 9, a time provider was added. Previously, you usually had your own date or time something where you then derive a system time and maybe a fake time or something like that. So you build your own infrastructure, but this is your own infrastructure. This doesn't work well with stuff from the BCL, which now with the time provider that was added in .NET 8, we now finally have infrastructure that we can use. And there are some types in the .NET BCL that allow a time provider to be passed. In order to find out where is the time provider used, I go to my favorites page or site, source.net, which is source.dot.net. I just love saying source.dot.net. We can search for time provider. Here is the implementation. It's an abstract class that essentially provides a system time provider that uses the real, if you get the UTC now, you get datetime offset.utc now, the real thing. But it's virtual, so you can have a class that inherits from this abstract class and then overrides it with custom functionality. And let's see where time provider is actually used. If we now click on the time provider type, we see where it's actually used. For example, it's used in Aspire heavily. Can we see in the BCL? If I recall, in the qualib, there we go. For example, it's used in wait async. Is it also used in, for example, in wait async, where you could pass a time span, but also your custom time provider with which you can mock the passage of time. So you don't wait for this entire time span, but well, if you say time is now passing 10 times faster, or you simulate the passage of 10 minutes, you don't need to wait 10 physical minutes, actually. And for example, it's also used in, is that the periodic timer? A periodic timer is essentially a timer where you say, hey, I want some action to occur every 5 seconds. So you pass in a period, but you can also pass in a time provider that maybe says, hey, every time, every invocation, not a second has passed, but 5 minutes. Yeah, something like that, depending on the implementation. The .NET team is also providing a fake time provider that does not come with the BCL, but it comes in a separate package, which is called Microsoft Extensions Time Provider.testing. So we can actually include this NuGet package. Which I think is only holding that singular type of the fake time provider. There it is. And let's say we have our usage. So we only use the regular time provider. And we want to get the UTC now. If we were using a system time provider, let's debug this application. This should be now 19 hours, 20 minutes. Well, it's actually UTC now, so this should be 5:20 p.m. Has the debugger stopped? No, not yet. There we go. So this is now, 5:20 p.m. But if we were using a fake time provider, with that fake provider, we could say set whatever now is. And maybe I want now to be set a new datetime offset. And yeah, let's take that. So it's now somewhere in the past.
Time travel.
And we should now get, now is now no longer 570, but it's now the beginning of the year 2020.
Mm-hmm.
And
we will all be hoarding, what is it, toilet paper and face masks, and then make a fortune.
Was the 20? Oh, when was the 2021 the COVID-19? No, COVID-19. That was 29. Oh yes, oh yeah, that was 2020. Yeah. I think at that time it was. When did it start?
Yeah, it was starting.
In Europe, it started like in February, March, right? So
yeah, exactly.
in January,
so
if we would
January,
have
we'd still have time.
Yes. Now I get
to
it.
do smart investments and never work again.
Should this video somehow reach you in the past? Toilet paper. That's a weird message to send in a time capsule. So yeah, with the fake time provider or with the time provider infrastructure, we can mock time. I'm wondering, I never used it with task.delay, but does task.delay also allow passing a time provider? Yes, it does.
Nice.
So we could, if we somewhere in a test would have, or in production code, we have a time delay for some reason, 10 minutes, then with that fake time provider, we could shorten this 10 minutes to nanosecond or an instant, actually. Yeah.
That's really nice. Cool. Awesome trivia. Useful in a lot of tests, and I guess, I don't know, where else would you need it? I think that's just that, maybe, right?
I think mostly for testing.
Yeah.
I can't think of
a different use case.
Another scenario other than testing. Yeah. Doesn't necessarily need to be unit testing. It could be integration testing, whatever testing, manual testing, but any kind of testing.
Nice. All right. And since we haven't worked on our project for a while, I think we should do like a little catch up for ourselves and for the audience as well.
Oh, yeah.
Of Inspector Roslyn and where we left off.
Mostly ourselves, I suppose. Yeah. Let's see. So we were building tooling that helps authors of compiler extensions. Compiler extensions can be something like source generators. For example, there is a source generator for compile time-based logging. I wonder if they have an example for regular logging. Do they? They all use the description font. For example, here. Okay. If you would log something like this, you would use the iLogger or the iLogger of T with Microsoft Extensions.logging. And you would pass in some string. You have those braces for structured logging. This is not string interpolation. It's just essentially a marker for structured logging, so something that you then later on can filter your logs at or group your logs by. And then you fill these arguments with some variables. It doesn't need to be some hard-coded. It could also be some, maybe you want to log the current date time. Yes, be this from the system time provider or the fake time provider, something, whenever your request was, when your web server was hit or the request was canceled, something like that. The thing is, this method, log information, it takes a string, the template, but also a params object array for the arguments. We see this is an array. So here we allocate an array. It's a little bit hidden, but this allocates an array that is used to pass this argument. And also, if this wasn't a reference type, string is a reference type. If this was a value type, let's say the integer 1 or some integer, we would also have, do you know what we have if we try to cast a value type into an object?
Boxing.
Can you remember how this is called? Exactly. We have some boxing, which is putting the value type that lives on the heap onto the we reversed it. An object type that lives on the stack onto the GC heap. So now it costs a little bit, not a lot, but it costs a little bit to allocate this on the heap. But also then the GC later needs to clear it up again. It's not bad, but it's also not ideal. So what you can use instead is this logging generator, where it's still very similar. You put in this attribute. It's now an abstract, a partial method. So the source generator is now doing the implementation of how to properly log this in the fastest way possible. You still pass in your message template you have in the hole that you want to fill, but you have no array anymore. And if this was an integer, you would say int there. So you no longer allocate an array, and you no longer do any boxing. So you avoid additional GC heap allocations. And for example, this source generator is in the NuGet package, Microsoft.extensions.logging.abstractions, I think. Yes. So when you have an ASP.NET Core application, you have this package out of the box. It always comes with ASP.NET Core. If you have other programming modules in MAUI, it's also included out of the box. If you have your command line application and want to use this OpenTelemetry compatible way of logging with Microsoft extensions.logging.star, there is a lot of these packages. You could now add this package and use the source generator for faster logging. But when we take a look at the NuGet package, there is the NuGet package explorer. From this point of view, we don't really see what's in there.
Yeah.
We see there is a library. Okay, so this does have some runtime dependency, well, where all the logging infrastructure and like the iLogger interface and the iLogger of T category, or category name, I think it's called. Anyway, so those two interfaces are in, and a lot of other infrastructure that is needed for logging. Those are in these DLLs. And there is analyzers. And in analyzers, we have Roslyn components. And these Roslyn components, we see here, this DLL, it's a Roslyn component. And this Roslyn component can include multiple compiler extensions, such as analyzers or suppressors, which is the opposite of an analyzer. An analyzer is producing squigglies. A suppressor is suppressing squigglies. You can also have a code fix provider, which is your Alt-Enter or Control-Dot experience. When you have a diagnostic with your squiggly, you can hit Alt-Enter and then have it automatically fixed. But you can also have source generators. And there is more. Completion providers, there is refactoring providers. And I think those are the compiler extensions that are in there. But just from here, well, we don't really see what's in there. Long story short, this is what our tool should do. So we could now say, we actually did run it just before. So we were looking at the package system.command-line in version 2, which did not include any compiler extensions. But Microsoft Extends Logging Abstractions in version 10, well, actually includes this logger message generator, which supports the C# language. So this wouldn't work for Visual Basic, it would only work for C#. And yeah, this is what our tool is doing, and it should help source generator authors or Roslyn compiler authors, but also consumers of packages to develop these, but also to consume these.
Yeah.
And we also added a bit of help. So we can say --help. And we get this out of the box because we use oh yeah, we just added this. We use system.command-line. System.command-line is a library that helps you with parsing of arguments for your CLI applications, for your CLI API. And it also automatically adds things like for the root command, like a version option, but also a help option, but also with aliases, the -h, and I think you can also say question mark or /question mark, stuff like that. And we didn't write, if we take a look in our code and I would search for --help, well, it's there in some JSON, but it's there. This is something that I'm giving away what we're going to talk about today. And here's some comments, but we didn't edit ourselves. So this comes out of the box. We get this --help experience where we see, okay, our root command has the help option, also the version option. So we could say also --version, which should be 1.0.0, I think, for now. We didn't set that yet.
Oh.
And our, sorry?
1.0.0, and then there's a plus, an ID.
Yeah, I think this is some build number.
Oh.
No, wait a second. I think this is a GitHub commit number.
Okay.
Since we built this from a branch, I think I'm fairly certain, but not entirely. So this is a semantic version. We could also have, since it's a semantic version, you at least need a major number, a minor number, and a patch version number. You can optionally have a pre-release tag. Maybe we say alpha.1 or something like beta.2. So we have some pre-release tag, and we can also have some additional build information. Like we see here, where after a plus, you essentially add something, which could be a git commit number or a git commit hash. It could be some ID from your CLI build. Yeah, whatever build information that you see fit to be added to this semantic version number. And yeah, so it seems to be automatically adding. This also comes from, I'm not sure now if this comes from the .NET infrastructure or from system or command line as well. Yeah, and we also have the command package. And again, the package command also has a help option, and we can pass in an option, a package name. We have a version, and again, help. So we could say, oh yeah, this is what we just invoked, and we say version. So we have an argument. That's, for example, Microsoft.extensions.logging.abstractions, and we pass in the version. Let's see what's actually the latest version of that package. Oh yeah, preview 6, because .NET 11 is currently preview phase, which should still list the same generator. There we go, yes. And when it comes to the help version, this is very much intended for humans to read. What about machines now? Not only agents, but also more deterministic systems, like some build servers or what could I think? Maybe you want to auto-generate documentation from the help. So you don't want to create your document, your HTML. If you have a website, you have a documentation, and you don't want to, when you add a new option or something, then want to manually add this to your documentation too. What if I want to auto-generate that? But parsing this help output, there is like some spaces in there, arguments, options. There isn't really a schema behind that. That's just some arbitrary text. A different command line tool would print this differently. There is no real standard of how you print the help pages.
And speaking of standard, I think we have a typo in the description, right?
Package to introspect. Yes, we do. But I guess this is typical us. So this is evidence that this is our project.
Yeah, we don't use AI.
Maybe we should fix all typos. Package to be inspected. Very good. And yes, so how to make this more structured? This is where there is now two approaches. Before we come to that, I see a message from Jason. Wait, there is also completion providers. Yes, there are. It's been a while since I wrote one, but this essentially is if the editor supports it, Wider does after you go to some option. I think it's this option. You need to enable this. If it's that, or the Wider needs some option, and I think Visual Studio supports it out of the box. But you can also via a Roslyn component or a code completion provider compiler extension also plug into this auto completion list. I think an example for that would be configure await. So if you have a task and I want to await a task, I could have a completion provider that not only offers configure await. Well, this is just a regular completion. This is just a method. But what you could have is a completion provider that maybe also offers configure await false and configure await true already filled in. So you just need to essentially, click that or select that with the keyboard, and you get the full line completed. Maybe also a little bit of trivia. There is now more configure await than just true and false. There is now also configure await options. But maybe that's trivia for next time.
Ooh, all right.
I need to take a note.
Yep.
Trivia next. Completion origin options. Yes. Okay. Friend of mine, Shahab, and I experimented with completion providers a while back. But yeah, we haven't really written any production ready just yet. But yeah, it took me. I think they are. Since when are they available? I'm actually not sure. Completion provider.
Is that something you'll cover in your workshop?
Not quite. No.
Okay.
Ooh, but that's a nice plug. Completion provider. Actually, this is in a separate NuGet package. I know we go a little bit off the trails, but this is what we do, right?
This is what we do. This is why we're here.
This is Microsoft.codeanalysis.C#, or in Microsoft Code Analysis, you have analyzers and suppressors and generators as compiler extensions. Then there is workspaces, where you have refactoring providers and code fix providers. And then there is, I think it's called features. And in features, you have the code completion provider. And actually, what did I want to find out? Where is the completion provider? Since when is that available? There is no, was hoping there is a Microsoft Learn documentation for that. There is not. Essentially, they have, apparently they don't have documentation for this feature. Microsoft, where did it go? For the Microsoft Code Analysis.features package. And then, of course, there is a Microsoft Code Analysis.features.C#. Oh, C#.features. Yeah, if you want to write a C# code completion provider. Okay, a little bit of a tangent, but yeah, this would also be a Roslyn component. I wonder, do we actually have it in our demo? Features, yes, we do. No, we don't. No, we don't. We do have a demo for that contains the features package, but we forgot to add a code completion provider actually. Okay, we should. Demo code completion provider, but that's something for another episode to do. And another typo. I suppose that's how it. Oh yeah, that's how it is.
Oh yeah. Whoops.
And Laszlo is here as well. Hello, thanks for joining.
Hello.
All right. Okay, I think that was enough of digression.
Where were we?
Let's take a look at the two potential more structured help output. Well, help is the wrong name. It's introspection. So give me all the information about the CLI tool.
Yes.
Like what options does the root command have? What arguments does the root command have? And what subcommands does the root command have? And then in a recursive fashion for all of its child commands. And its child commands has options and or arguments and potentially subcommands and so on. So this entire tree, this was added to expose this information. This was added in .NET 10. So since the .NET 10 SDK, you can write --CLI schema. For example, if you do .NET clean CLI schema, you see that you get to the console printed the structured JSON, where you see it's the command clean, it's in some version, it has a description, it has arguments. Well, this one has one argument. It has an arity of minimum 0, so we need to pass. This is not an optional argument, this is required argument. Actually, wait a second. No, this is actually not required, because if you don't add this argument, my bad, it's not required. If you don't add this argument, it assumes either a project or a solution in the current working directory of your terminal. And it also has options. And the option is artifact path. And this also has a description. There's actually way more option, something like, is this required? There's a bit of a truncated example, could be if this option is required or not. You can have a required option. There is also information whether it's hidden. You could have options that don't show up in the help information. If you do --help, you don't see it, but it's actually there. And this JSON would still, this CLI schema would still expose it. And also potential subcommands, where .NET Clean doesn't have any more subcommands. And if I were to run .NET CLI schema on just the root, so if we run .NET Clean CLI schema, actually, let's see what we currently got from, okay, it's actually way more. This is a very truncated example. From the current 10.03.02, so the current non-preview SDK. Oh, we can also now pass a file, because .NET 10 also supports file-based application. Did you know that you can't just have some CS file and actually run this now with the .NET 10 plus SDK?
No.
Then we have some more trivia for next time. So this is the file that we can add. We see this is order 0. Well, there is only one argument. You could have multiple arguments. It's not hidden. It's a string array, so you could pass multiple projects, so it seems. It doesn't have a default, and the minimum arity is 0, but it doesn't have a maximum arity, so we could pass more to it. Then there is options like the artifact path. We see there is the required, for example, if it's hidden. There is a configuration that we want to pass. This configuration also an alias. If we do -c or -- configuration, that's the same. Whether it's usually the configurations either debug or release. We could also pass in a specific framework, like for example, net 10, stuff like that. So we see what this .NET Clean command can do, all of its options in a very structured way. So this is not really nicely readable for humans. You see, we need to scroll a lot. If I do .NET Clean -- help, yeah, that's, well, I'm super zoomed in here, but we almost fit it on this super zoomed in screen, all of the help information and all I need in order to use this command for me. But for machines, being it deterministic systems or indeterministic systems like agents, the CLI schema, the structured way of output would be a better fit. Is the JSON generated by system command line package? No. This is currently only available in the .NET CLI. You could take a look at the source code. I wonder if I still have the tab open. I do not. .NET CLI source code. If we search for, SDK -- CLI schema, we see this is part of the .NET CLI, but it's not part of system.command line yet, question mark. There was an issue that was open, but this is closed now. I'm not sure what the timeline is, if there even is a timeline to add this to system.command line. But maybe after the session, you're well welcome. Maybe we expose what we built today as a NuGet package for you to use, if this would be helpful to you. But I'm getting now ahead of myself. So that's the Microsoft way of doing this. And we would now, or we could, essentially build now an extension to system.command line that we now use in our .NET tool. Of course, there is never only just one standard. It isn't a standard if there is not at least another standard. The OpenCLI specification, which is currently in currently in proposal, saw this, that I'm not sure about the exact timeline, but taking a look at the changelog here, seeing Patrick Svensson, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, is also the author of Spectre.console, which is also heavily used in the .NET CLI by Microsoft. Understood that there should be some standard around this, because this is just how Microsoft saw fit. All of the names that we see, help name and all of that, required hidden. This is very much bound to system.command line. So there's a very system.command line way of generating this CLI schema. And there's currently this proposal of trying to make this universal, not only for .NET, but for every CLI out there, be it JavaScript, Python, Java, Rust, whatever. And yes, so now we would need to decide whether we go with this specification. This is currently used in, of course, Spectre.console CLI. For some context, there is a Spectre console NuGet package that allows, or that has some TUI controls, text UI or terminal-based UI, where you can have nice colors in your terminal. You can make very easily with these APIs generate trees, but also graphs or charts. You get exceptions nicely rendered. You can also have progress bars rendered, animations, and so on. And there is also the project spectreconsole.cli, which is essentially very similar to system.command line. It also does CLI argument parsing and matching these two commands and options and so on and so forth. And Spectre Console CLI is using the OpenCLI specification, and Microsoft is using what is shipped with .NET 10. And also, I took a look at the preview. They made additions to it. They also fixed some problems, but it's structurally still equivalent what .NET 11 will have. And now is the question, what should we go with for our system.command line? If we were using System Spectre CLI, we wouldn't need to build it ourselves because it's already built in. I think. Actually, I didn't check, but I would be surprised if it wasn't. Can we find specification? Spec. I haven't confirmed it, but I would be surprised if it's not. Anyway, but we're not using Spectre Console. We're using System Command Line, which currently doesn't have neither the Microsoft way of doing it nor the OpenCLI way of doing it. What would you say what we should pick?
Well, it's a good question. If any of the viewers have any preferences, now is the time to share it. And yeah, I'm actually up for either way, and I think we can even try both and see what we prefer. But
why not both?
Do you have any preference?
Yeah. I would have a preference. I'm leaning towards the cli-schema way, since the .NET CLI is using system.command line. And well, this way of putting it out is, I think, very system.command line like. But yeah, why not both? And if we would be offering this as an extension, as a NuGet package, then users could decide which one to pick. Why not both? Yeah, both is good. So let's start with OpenCLI, and then we take a peek at the .NET CLI schema, Microsoft style. Twinning has used Spectre years ago, but doesn't remember much. Maybe we should invite Patrick then on a stream someday to talk about Spectre. Making myself a note here. Spectre console guest. Cool. All right, then let's jump into the code. Well, we need the specification. So the specification has, maybe let's not like fully implement it, but a part of it. Then later off stream, we can then essentially, add the missing pieces. But let's add the most significant versions to it during the stream and get like a minimal MVP style going. So we see, how this is all structured. Hidden description group, the argument group. Not sure what it means actually. Whether if it's acquired or not. We have some potential default values. Well, actually, we see arity, which is also minimum maximum. So maybe Microsoft already did some communication. So it might be actually quite similar, the CLI schema and this OpenCLI spec, but they're not quite identical. But they seem to be similar, at least, because there is actually a JSON schema that we could validate against. Cool. Shall we? What we could do is I'll just copy this. I guess starting with a test is a good idea, right?
Yep. Usually the way to go. I left the joint. Yeah, I seem to have some internet.
Is your internet not
problem.
the most stable one right now? Are you in? I don't. Oh yes. No.
Yeah. Should
Yes?
be.
Oh yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's create a new library project. Since we could later on then put this, maybe even put this in a separate repository, but to definitely have it as a NuGet package. How would we call this? Not sure. System.command-line.cli schema, or just schema. And then, of course, we need tests too. Wait a second. Tests are now actually a console app, are they not? System.command-line.schema.tests. For simplicity, we currently only target net standard, .NET 10, but later on, we should multi-target with net standard, so 2.0, because I think system.command line. Yeah, it helps when I pronounce it German. I don't know, then I type it correctly.
Yeah, I'm the same.
To at least also offer the targets that system.command line has, which will be, net standard and net 10. So we should be multi-targeting with net standard. And we should also think about being AOT compatible, which includes also trim compatibility, I think. But yeah, those will be thoughts that we can then do later on.
Okay.
So as a first test, let's have in OpenCLI tests. And we could put private, or we have a method we see auto-completion already is Code With Me. Code With Me has now been retired, actually.
Yeah.
So we're running a little bit on, what's the phrase of if you're using something that's kind of done, we're running on borrowed time?
Yeah. I guess we are. So sad. We also have an episode where we tested quite a few of these collaborative coding tools, and I think we just like this the most. I mean, it's not, none of them are perfect, but we were really
Yes.
liking it.
They all suck in their own way, yes.
Yeah.
Link.
Do you know why? It was just nobody apart from us using it.
It's, if I try to remember the official statement, and I think it was that nobody's.
They made an official statement to us saying sorry to code or not to code.
Yeah, the usage was going down significantly. They saw a spike during Corona, which is now going back significantly, and usage now is in pair programming with your agent, but not with another human. So this is why there is less demand for these tools.
Oh. Okay.
And so to focus the development efforts.
So everybody, grab your best friend and make a coding stream, use Code With Me, and we'll bring it back. And from today, the spike will go back up.
So all we need is another pandemic. Oh no, I didn't say that.
Well, it's gonna come sooner or later. So
you know something?
We should have responded. No, it's just
something in the works.
Something is always in the works. Like, come on.
That's fair.
Yeah, we should write to them.
Your Soul the Devil is here. Thank you very much for joining.
Hello. All right.
Cool. Now, it's actually been a while since we used MS Test. So I'm just gonna copy over.
Everything.
Stuff. Yes. And fix up the project names. Wait a second, this is in lib. Cool. So we here have our test class, which now has a test method. Good old naming issues we are having. Where we now need to set up our tool.
Yep.
Wonder cli-schema command, and then compare. Why do we want to hurt ourselves with MS Test? I had we had some trouble setting up native AOT testing with XUnit. It might have also been a while since I looked at native AOT testing of XUnit a while back. Maybe I can imagine it's now better supported.
Is that why we chose it?
Yes, because we also have.
I also think like every time we have a new project, we just roll a dice or like try out something that we haven't tried before.
I think originally, but then since we actually want our project or our tool to be, well, we don't publish it, but we're doing that. We still need to bring that back. Publish it with native AOT and also do native AOT based testing. Then I think at that time when we opened the project, like MS Test had better support for it. But I can imagine that the others, XUnit and NUnit, have caught up there significantly. I didn't have a look at their latest AOT story actually, so my knowledge there is obsolete. And yeah, maybe I do like pain. That sounds masochistisch. Cool. Now I'm actually out of ideas already. Since it has been a while, I'm quite not certain how to set this up.
We can copy that from a different test, right?
If we had some here. Well, we do have a test for the. So we need to actually run. Wait a second. So we have, well, this is for our. Yeah, we actually don't have integration tests currently. So we don't really have a mean to run our .NET tool. So essentially our system.command line based application. So I suppose we need that.
Oh.
And wonder if there is a better way to.
Yeah, I think we always just did the manual testing, didn't we?
Yeah, so what we could do is make it a little bit easier on us, wrap this in a library, and then just call this code. For simplicity. Wait a second. No. hold on. We actually don't want to run. So we're now writing tests more generally for the actual library that we're going to build, which is offering this functionality. So no, this is not going to be an integration test. This is actually going to be more of a system command line test. So we will include system command line in our schema project. That could be its own NuGet package later. And now here needs to set up a command with some options. So we can actually set up what we want to achieve. So we could mimic whatever this example that we copied here is actually doing. So we could have a .NET root command that has these options, has the subcommand with argument and options. So let's mimic exactly that example that we got here and then run that command, which shouldn't be all too much of a pain. I see that Jason is mentioning T-unit. Oh, I haven't thought about T-unit, yeah. So T-unit is heavily based on source generators. So which then facilitates native ELT very well as well. So it doesn't use any reflection or stuff like that. So older test unit frameworks were heavily based on reflection. They were trying to find your tests by these attributes. And reflection is not playing along well with trimming, and if you're not trim friendly, native ELT is gonna have problems. And since T-unit is generating a lot of just source code that you run, this is then easy for getting it trimmed and native ELT compatible. But personally, Jason doesn't like T-unit too much. The assertion, well, this is not really T-unit, but assertion APIs, they're all async. And that has issues with ref structs. Yes, indeed. Since you can't use stuff like a span across await boundaries. So if I were declaring a span here, let's say we had a read-only span here, we couldn't use it after the await. It can't cross an await or a yield boundary. So yeah, but the tests all seem to be, the assertions are all async. Although this is really just a synchronous test. Yes, I see how this is kind of, I don't want to say weird, but uncommon, since all the other assertion libraries, NUnit, MSTest, XUnit, fluent assertions, awesome assertions, what else is there? Assertly, something like that. They all have both synchronous and asynchronous counterparts. Yes, but they are very much.
I think you mean.
Yeah, they shouldly, yes. Thank you. That was the one I couldn't think of. But yeah, but this is quite AOT compatible. Cool, but yeah, we stick with pain. So we need to create a root command.
Time for pain.
Time
All
for
right.
pain. Oh, Jason actually talked to the author of T-unit.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah, the suggestion is if you like other assertions more than use T-unit as a library, as a framework to design your tests, but then any assertion library to write assertions. Cool. Okay, so let's build the .NET command and add some information. Would you mind helping me there? Or maybe actually, Well, this is something where an AI agent could help. Do we want to do that, or do we want to keep it manual?
Wait, what?
Essentially bringing this JSON schema with its options and its commands into the equivalent of a system.command line structure. I wonder how we are faster. Well, since there is two of us, you could be my agent. And maybe you start, would you mind starting from the bottom, like designing maybe this configuration option? And I go from the top, and then we meet in the middle. How does this sound?
Sounds good. Just want to, yeah. Let's just do it.
if you remember, I think you need to use the is this CLI option, command option, just option. So I guess this would be an option of
command.
Wait a second. Here's the option. Well, maybe you do the build command, the build subcommand. So that's the build command, yes. And it has one option, which is a string-based configuration option with an alias. Option of string configuration. Yeah, and then you could go on from there. And I built the rest from the top, if you don't mind.
Yes.
I will put this JSON schema on my second monitor and see that we have a description there. Essentially just pasting into the, oh, there's a license. Okay, we don't have that. We then just remove things that we can't depict. And we have some options. Which has an alias. I need to remember how we do aliases. Oh, we just passed them. It also has a description. I guess we could use object initializer syntax here. Which I'm also using wrong. We have an info. Because I was wondering if we should. This seems to be very AI agentable, but this would defeat our earlier argument that people should use code with me more. You know, I try to be not hypocritical. But I suppose there is. What's the noun of hypocritical? Is that hypocrisy?
Yeah. Wait. Sorry. What was the question? What was the noun of
hypocritical? Is hypocrisy? Is hypocrisy is that a word? A hypocrite.
A hypocrite is like the person
that is hypocritical.
Exactly. But hypocrisy is also a word. Pretty sure.
Hypocrisy, cool. Options.add. Ooh, we can use some syntactic sugar there, but cool.
And How do I?
How do you?
Nothing.
Yes.
And you put in the argument.
Wait,
right?
now that's the arguments of an option. Okay, I see. Yes, but I didn't have arguments for the option. You actually have arguments for the option. I'm not sure how to do this. Configuration dot required. We just do it like this. Do we have the arity? Arity? What's arity? Arity is an argument arity, which is a struct that has a minimum number of values and a maximum number of values. And I would suppose, does it have a constructor that takes, in our case, 1 and 1? Yes, it does. And I think that is good.
Yeah. I mean, I can pop the description, like use the description like you did. Then we can save a line, right? Wait, yes.
Actually, hold on. I should be able to use the refactoring there. I guess you can't via code with me.
Nope.
Because I think I should be able to just hit Alt-Enter. Boom, cool. But we should also be able to add these two.
Ah, nice.
Cool. Now we just, can you remember, there is, if you see the root command, I add these options with add. Wait a second.
Yeah.
Can we just say add as well? Well, I don't need to say options.add. I think I can just say add as well.
Ha.
This should then add it as an option. Yes. If we have add. Do you know
Is
what
that a
we can
pattern?
do? Yes. So we should be able to use. Wait. Okay. I wonder if it has a refactoring for that. No. A collection initializer. But we already have an option initializer. I don't think you can combine a collection initializer with an option initializer. I wouldn't know how. Do you know what I mean? This is because we here have a option initializer. If we were having a list, we could use a collection initializer. So this is a collection initializer that under the hood is just calling add 4 times. But this is an object initializer. I don't think this can be combined. So I don't think we can just now say here new option of Boolean. No, because invalid initialized missing name. Yeah, okay. No, we can't combine these, unfortunately.
That would have been so cool, though.
What we could do instead, Joe, now if you wouldn't like that more, we don't use an option initializer, but have these options. We could use the collection initializer instead and say, add our options like so. This would work instead of the adds. Then the options wouldn't have, you know what I mean? What would you prefer more?
I'm just reconnecting to everyone. So I didn't hear it, unfortunately. What was that?
Your internet indeed isn't too stable. What do you prefer more?
I don't know why, though. Yes.
Using the option initializer to set description and arity and such, or set options and arguments as a collection initializer.
Oh, I don't mind. What's shorter?
I think it doesn't quite matter. Let's stick with what we have.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Okay. Is that our
And-
arrange step done?
Not quite. We still need to add.
Oh, yeah.
The build command, for which we can also use an object initializer. And we need to add the argument and the configuration option to the build command, and then this command to the root. This should be it, I think. And now we should be able to act. Say, I guess, use apply with cli-schema option. Wonder how to add help or something, if there's like similar extension methods to have a similar pattern. But I don't see any really. Are there some extension methods of type? No, those are not really. Those are from IEnumerable. Or yeah, those are from IEnumerable. No. So we would say well, our method with CLI schema option. And this would be now our library code. And then we would need to compare somehow. We would need to get the CLI schema output. And then compare that with our expected JSON.
Yep.
In the meantime, couldn't we use add range, or is that JavaScript? Well, if they had an add range method, which they don't, we could. However, well, we could build our own one.
Yeah.
Since this is add, let's see what. Okay, so this is just a method called add on command. What we could do, of course, is
Extension method.
Well, yes. Well, we could also maybe also offer this in a library. Also offer in our library, maybe, if this is valuable extension method. Public static class command extensions. Extension of command, which now has a public void add range method that takes in a set of options. Of course, let's do a read-only span, because why not?
And if you want to learn more about read-only spans, yeah, you can watch one of Stefan's talks.
I actually do have a span session. I submitted that a lot. It was never accepted so far, but
oh, wasn't it? Oh,
no,
okay. So
not
if
yet,
you
but,
have a conference, if you're one of the people who book the conference, listen up.
Should do the trick. So we should now be able to say add range. And I think I forgot the params keyword. But if we add params, which is now available since C# 11, 12, 13, I forgot. Anyway, now we can do add range.
Yay! That's so cool.
What we can't quite combine is these, because one is an argument and the other one is an option. I don't think, well, option has a symbol as a base class. And argument also has symbol as a base class. does command is also a symbol. So I wonder if we would extend this to just symbol. But there is no add method for, there is only an add for argument, option, and command. Well, what we could do then is do type checks and say if this symbol is an option, then add this option. But what if, and then do the same for argument and also command, and then invoke the respective method. But what if we have a symbol that is neither? What would we do then? And let's check if we have, if there is other, okay, there is something like a directive, which is also a symbol. So if there was a directive in this collection, well, would we throw? Would we not do anything? This would be kind of weird from my understanding, whatever that means of API design. So I think I am leaning towards having it like this extension method, then essentially duplicating this and have one for command. And one for argument. What do you think?
Yeah.
Is this
agreed.
kind of valid thought? But yeah, we could offer these extension methods. Oh, right. Now we have command twice. Subcommand. Maybe a union type would help. So union types is coming out in C# 15. Did you take a look at union types already?
No.
Well, this is what we're going to have a look at the end of the year with Stuart, definitely.
Nice.
Where you can have, well, the base fundamental of union types is closed type hierarchies. Because currently, we could extend the symbol type that we saw, we could extend this. Unless the constructor is not accessible. Let's take a look at symbol. It's an abstract type that does not hide its constructor. So we could define our own symbol. Class, there we go. And, oh, okay, no, wait a second, they did hide. So the constructor is not accessible or not accessible outside of the assembly. So we can't define our own symbols. So what they could have done if the feature was available already is, oh yeah, there it is, yeah. Define this as a closed type, and a closed type can only be inherited in the same assembly. This way you can have public types that cannot be inherited outside of the assembly. And if you know that nobody else is inheriting your types, if we would do something like a type check, let's say, again, if we would have a method like that allows all symbols, we could have a, for each of all symbols, then do a type check. Symbol, wait a second. How does do we, no, we can't. If switch, there we go. If the symbol, what I'm trying to achieve here, switch. If the symbol is a command, Then we do something. If this is an argument, we do something. If it's an option, we do something. If it's a, what did we say? Completion? No, what was the other symbol that we saw? I forgot already. And directive.
Oh.
If it was a directive, we do something. And what I currently get is a warning that we are not, it's not an exhaustive list. Because theoretically, somebody could extend this type as well. Practically, we can't because the constructor is hidden. So we can't access the constructor, but this is only because the constructor is hidden. We can't define our own public class, our symbol.
Yep.
But this is only, yeah, this is kind of one layer farther because we can't call the base constructor. But it's not a closed type. Theoretically, we could inherit it, yeah, but practically we still can't. But a compiler can't know that from this perspective because somebody could derive it further. If it was a closed hierarchy, this is what's coming with union types in C# 15, the compiler, if it knows that this is a closed hierarchy and it knows this closed hierarchy is only allowed for these 4 types, nothing more, then you will not have this warning anymore because the compiler now knows it's a closed hierarchy, nobody else can inherit it. So it's with these 4 type checks, you are exhaustive already. But to make a long story short, I don't think that union types would help us there. Well, this is just closed hierarchies. Then you can have union types, which can represent one of multiple. So you could have a return type that is either a successful result or a failed result or some error message. But yeah, I don't think that union types here would be helping that problem. Yeah, what are we doing?
Hello.
We are digressing a lot.
We are digressing. We are, yeah.
We are building a library that helps from a system.command line application, which is a programming, what's the word? Framework programming model that allows to design CLI applications. And we want to add automatically an option that then puts out this CLI schema from the OpenCLI specification. And essentially, we try to generate now this JSON output from our structured.NET types. So yeah, let's exactly do that. Let's go to our schema. This will be now, I guess this will also be an extension type. If I were able to. Now we shouldn't have any typos here if this is a library, because if you change a name, that's a breaking change, and we don't want to do that. Extensions.
Whoops.
Extension. Fruit command. And yeah, now we want to add an option. Void, how did we call it? We called it with CLI schema option. That is now adding to this command an option. Probably need to be into, let's make it private for now. That's a Boolean option. Let's call it with CLI schema option. Or just the CLI schema option. I guess this would be more precise. And this will be -- CLI - schema. And yeah, now we need to parse this option. Code body does not confirm coding style. Never mind. And now we need to add some functionality if we want that command. So in our test, if we would now say would.execute, I forgot, how do we invoke a command? Parse? I guess we did this in our application. Yeah, we parse it.
Oh, okay. My memory is great.
Where we pass in arguments. So we would say invoke this with dash dash CLI schema. Now we can invoke this result.
Yep.
Where the exit code should be 0. To indicate success. And we should also get the output stream. I'm not sure how to get that. Oh, text writer, I suppose via the configuration options. So we grab ourselves some configuration to which we set the output to our own text writer. So we can have a it's been a while since I used text writer. I think there is an indented text writer, but I wonder what subclasses there are. Source text writer, yeah, that's from Microsoft. That's from Roslyn. String writer looks good. Which will be our output. And then this is our output that we should compare against output.toString. Not sure if toString does the right thing, but we will see that. And I guess this would be our test from which we now need to implement. Let's see if that runs or fails successfully.
Yep.
I should have just looked at the chat. Laszlo knew.
Oh.
It's parse and invoke indeed. Yes. Thank you very much. And it fails because we got, yeah, it's just empty. We don't get any output at all. So yeah, let's try to fix that. So with that option, the question is, I think for this pipeline, we need a custom, if this option is set, we need to invoke our logic. And I'm not certain how to do that. But maybe Laszlo knows. Because we didn't do this before. What we did only is just run. But there is a way where you can kind of, not really if it's really interjecting the pipeline, but where you can add a is that a parser that you add? Let's check the documentation.
Yeah.
Parse and invoke the result. Customizing, parsing, and validation. configure the parser, enable tag completion. That might be it. Validator, not quite. A custom parser. Set action. Custom parser. So we can... Wait, do we need to set a custom action? That's not what I hope we would need to do. Custom parser is returning a result, actually. No, so it's not a parser, because a parser is parsing options. No, but isn't this what a parser should do? Ignored. Maybe it is a parser. If we say custom parser and it just returns some t and we have a result. What if we return one from... No, this doesn't work. Oh, okay, no, that's a Boolean parser. No, it doesn't work like that. Because what I was kind of hoping is that we can set output, but we can't really write output from there. No, this is really only parsing a option or an argument. We can have errors, but we can't really add an output. So no, I don't think parser is the right way to go. So we might need to set an action, but this action, couldn't this action then be... overwritten? Or is that the right way to go? Gets or sets the command line action for the option. The handler represents the action that will be performed when the option is invoked. Well, this doesn't sound too bad, does it?
Nope.
And then we have our custom command line action. So we could have our CLI schema command line action, maybe. Which oh, damn it, again, we cannot, no, we can't inherit from that. But let's see what available, okay. So there was a couple of actions available, an asynchronous command line action, synchronous command line action, but we don't have an asynchronous action. So this would be a synchronous command line action. Oh, this one we can override. And then have our invoke method here. And this might now, well, this should now, if we run our test, and if we get the not implemented exception, then it looks good. But was
empty again, right?
Empty, yes. Can we... command result? errors, plugins, tokens. I wonder if we can add some output. Action, command result, configuration, errors, invocation configuration. Invocation configuration dot output. What if we would write line hello? Do we now get hello?
Nope.
Oh, we get not all code paths return a value. Yes, return 0. Oh no, but it was actually 0. That looks. Does it get invoked actually? Let's do debug breakpoint. It does get invoked, so that kind of looks
good.
Good. Tokens. Root command result. Kind of looks all right. Why does this output not? Output error, and we would be writing some output. Looks, unless we do something wrong here with our custom string writer here. Maybe that's not doing as we. What does string writer.toString do? It toStrings the internal string builder. That looks promising. Because in here, this should now be our custom string writer, I would hope.
Yep.
Sync text writer. Looks all right, I think. And just get invoked. We have an exit code. If we were to return, let's say, this exit code, do we actually get that exit code as an output? We do. Okay, so that looks all right. But why is the output not written? Because here now we could actually write, or what I was hoping is that we would write this essentially this JSON output format now here and see this in our test. Ooh. Wait, do we need to flush the output?
Maybe.
Because it's like a stream-based thing and it hasn't been written, but it's string writer doesn't do stuff like that, does it? No, it's still empty.
Yep. Okay.
Okay. I'm uncertain. Config. Wait, do we pass the config? We don't pass the config. Ah. Okay. That's embarrassing. Laszlo's writing, do you assert the right thing for the output? Maybe not, but it seems that we never passed these options that we configured. There we go. Expected to do. Cool.
Nice.
Sweet. So now we just need to implement the thing and have the functionality ready, actually. Just. Okay. But how do we do that now?
Yeah. So 2 hours later, we've got one test. Nice.
Right. Okay, so we only have 10 minutes left to implement this thing. Okay, that obliterates our plan a little, but well, maybe we get just like not the entire thing, but just super simple output. Maybe let's only start with the top line options, the top level options, so that we see the output, and then for the rest we would just need to then add the commands and the name and the arguments and so on and so forth. But to show how the basic structure would work. And I think, or I hope that from this parse result, we need to get a hold of the structure of our tool. So the root command and all of its commands.
Yep.
If we can get that here, if we can't, maybe we can do this from here. Because this is actually the root command. We could maybe save that somewhere and then reuse that here. But then we save it somewhere and read it from somewhere else. That's kind of weird. I guess the coolest thing would be if we can actually get a hold of our structure here, but I'm not sure if we can. So we have some action. No. In the parse result, we get the command result, which has children, but those are symbol results. Well, there is a command, which has, oh, maybe we do. Maybe we do. Oh, let's actually write, so we don't need to do debugging. Let's just print something to the output. Maybe the name of the command. And the description. Yep. Okay. And let's see if we get something into the output. But was resharper test runner. Okay. That's the name of the command, the resharper test runner. I was hoping. Okay.
Yeah.
Then I guess this is not the command that.
Yeah.
But the description fits.
Oh.
But name, okay, maybe name is not the right.
Yeah.
Yes, arguments, children, subcommands. No, I thought it was name. Where's the test runner coming from? That's interesting, because I thought it was .NET, because that's the... Oh, wait a second. No, that's the description. Do I get it? Not sure.
No, I don't get it.
The root command is the description. Wait, but this is the description.
Yeah. We also print the description.
Oh, so but this is the... Okay, so we set here the description.
Mm-hmm.
But then we overwrite the description. So the root command doesn't have a name. Which is now a little bit schlecht, because if we were running this test, not from resharper, but from some other test runner, the command name would be just in command line tests. Okay. So this is actually the command that the test is running from. So yes, I'm not sure how to.
Yeah.
I guess we would need to actually, since that's the root command doesn't have a name.
Okay, we can.
It's the name of the execute. It's actually the name of the executable.
Okay. Oh, we just don't set it. I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So we would need to somehow make this the title here. We would need to make this some wildcard, but yeah, this is now going into the testing framework. We don't want to do this today. So let's assume here the ReSharper test runner. But yeah, this would need to be wildcarded away.
Yeah.
And we see, yeah, so that this, wait a second, that's the info, that's the title. Yes. We see this is also not a command name. That's just the title of the, yeah. Cool, but maybe just copy like the first part of this JSON. No, wait a second. We don't create a string. We actually want to serialize it. So we want to create a bit of an option object that represents this information. So what we probably want to do is design ourselves a record that has like the info or CLI schema info. That has the schema name. But I suppose the schema will always be the same name, but yeah. It has OpenCLI as a version, which is also a string. And it has an info object. Oh, okay, no, so this is the CLI schema root. Then we would have an CLI schema info, which contains this info, but maybe let's ignore this info for now. Let's go to the options. So we have some options or an option. And in here, we then have a, let's make it a list for now. I guess it should be some other data type, but for now, let's make it a list. It's an internal type. List of options. And an option has a name. It has aliases. It has a description. Later on, we can also add, like, is it required or stuff, but let's just, yeah, get something going.
Yep.
And now I would like to ask for your help again and essentially fill out this form. So we have our root here and essentially fill in the data because we need to for each. If you could take a look, if you could take care of the options. Which should be dot options. And if you could create or fill this list of options.
Yep.
Option. If you could fill this list of options with the options from there, essentially translate it or map it. Better to say.
Yep. What is it?
I mentioned that because I say schlecht for bad. And I'm 99% certain that it is the Laszlo that I've met. And yeah, we have not met in Germany. I don't want to give too much away, but I know that he knows German and probably better than I do. Okay, and I'll try to fill out the root information. So that should be within the loop.
Oh no.
So essentially within the loop, add each options. Or do you want to do it with link? Ooh, you want to do it with link, don't you? Yes. Do you want to do it with link?
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
Let's go.
So,
yeah.
Do you remember which one to use if you want to map? Because we essentially what we want to do is mapping. We want to go from one type to another one.
Yeah.
is this where, or is this select?
Or is it?
Or is it? It's either one of those. Is it where or select?
Select?
Why is that?
Where? I don't know, because where's like a lookup, right?
Putting you on the spot now. If you think in SQL or SQL,
Yeah.
when you write a SQL statement or a statement query, what does the where do?
Narrows the data down to where it fits a certain thing.
Precisely.
I should be a scientist. I have very scientific words.
You could also use the word filtering, but yeah, essentially it says include or not.
Oh yeah.
Include or exclude in data set. Very good.
Filtering.
So it's not the where that we're looking for, it's indeed the select. And you need to map from one option type now to our CLI schema option type, and essentially fill out these information, the name, the aliases, and the description from this option that we get in here. And need an arrow here. There we go. And then we toolist it because we said we want a list. Oops.
So
just adding some new lines here to make it easy on the eye. Do you know what I mean?
no, I'm lost now.
So we want to map from the CLI options or from system.command line options that include information like has default value, where later on we want to deserialize that as well, or the help name and such, or the arity. But we want to map this into our data type, that we have more control over how to serialize and deserialize it. So essentially, and our CLI schema option type has these three properties. It has the name as a string, it has some aliases as an array, and it has a description. And you need now to extract this information from the system command line option type and pass them into our type.
Okay, so I need, So you want me to pass in like the actual name, like a string with like the name?
Yes, those are all strings, yeah.
But which name?
The name of the option.
What is the name of the option?
Well, we don't know, but it should be in this option object.
Oh.
Because this is now essentially looping through these options that we set up here.
No.
So
no
extract the help, extract the info, extract the data out of there into that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought I'd have to put those in like quotation marks. But I don't. I should find from option some name, right?
Yes.
But how do I do that? Because there's not.
Well,
there is a name.
Yeah,
it wasn't before. No, it wasn't before.
Was auto-completion forsaking you?
Yeah, I don't have auto-completion.
Oh, okay. Well, then that sucks. That's unfair then, yeah.
No, this is also wrong. Why is this wrong? And so with the string array, should I just, what do I do? This is where the loop would have been good, right?
Well, you could do more link there if you.
Oh,
we could also say, you know what? Let's not solve it with link. Let's have a regular loop. We can also solve it via loop, or we link it.
We have to link it now.
You could do even more link then, and go
Yes.
through all the aliases? Or what is aliases? Or are there aliases on the
Yeah.
schema option?
Yeah.
What type is the alias of?
String.
Is that just a string? I was hoping it's some collection of strings.
Oh yeah, could be.
Oh, it is an I collection. Okay. So it's a collection of string. How can we change some enumerable, because I collection that inherits from or implements the interface I enumerable, how we can convert some enumerable, like an I collection, to an array?
How?
Yeah. What do we need to call
array?
in order to convert it? Yes, exactly. Yes, exactly.
Oh, how do you do that? To array. Nope. I don't have a completion.
The aliases, yes, because option itself is not a collection, but the aliases property.
What aliases were there before?
I might have removed them. And on there we should have to array.
Do we have it? It's all red on my end. No, it's red on your end as well.
It should be.
No.
Yeah. Because toArray, that's an extension method of IEnumerable. And iCollection, if you follow that trail, is eventually implementing, I think it's also implementing iRead-only collection, but it's also implementing, oh no, it's not. iCollection is implementing IEnumerable. So we convert this iCollection to an IEnumerable and pass it to this extension method, and then we create an array out of that. Cool. We see that the description is nullable, so we should make that description here nullable too. That seems to be optional. And yes, cool. I think this could be it already. Let's find out. Jason learned a new German word. Yeah, schlecht. I got the habit of whenever I do something wrong, even when I'm in English-speaking context and something is wrong or something is not good, then I say schlecht. Okay, so the new lines are totally off.
Yep.
This is just serializing into a singular line. This is what I started to use the JSON serializer options. As this is essentially a huge property bag, which internally I think also does some caching, but we don't need that here. That allows, okay, we don't need to set all of the options, but I'm just wondering, we can set a new line character, something with indentation, white indented. Yeah, true. We could also define our own indent character and size. We might need to do, no, we don't have any unknown types. We don't need a type resolver. Respect nullable annotations. Yes, please. Respect, oh yeah, that's will be coming to that in just a minute, maybe two. Respect to constructor postmator, no. Read comment handling, I think we're just wondering, because there might be an option that we need as well. Property name, case insensitive, policy, max depth. Max depth, we might need to think about that. Theoretically, could you? I'm not sure if you could theoretically set up some recursion. If we have an infinite recursion, well, our tool would run indefinitely.
Yeah.
And we might, yeah, essentially run then into a out of memory or Stack Overflow at some point. So we could think about setting some max depth at some point with a serializer. If it is some, well, it doesn't need to be an infinite recursion, but some repeating pattern will just stop in order to avoid these. This is, you need to think about this if you have some untrusted input from, maybe you have a web service and you get in some data and you want to convert that. And what if this data is recursive or ending super long. It could essentially be a denial of service attack that could be run against your web service. Then you need to think about something like this. For now, let's ignore it. But this might bite us in the ass at some point. Hey, if I have this super huge CLI, it crashes. We might need to think about something like that. Maybe not. Just keeping it in mind. We don't need anything of that. I suppose allow trailing commas. No. Okay. This is complaining because avoid creating new serializer option instance for every serialization operation. Yes, this is correct, but we'll come to that in a minute. Cool. Our deserialization fails because value cannot be null. Oops. Yes, where am I passing now? Where we shouldn't? Oh, reference handler, be gone. New line also. Respect null annotations. That's the only thing we want to do. Yes. Oh no, it's still yes. Okay, cool. So this now. Okay, so we see that our output uses 4 spaces, but we only have 2 spaces. Well, we should now change our test to only have 2 spaces.
Yeah.
This could also be something that we allow to be configured. So we could have either an optional parameter or an overload where we like forward or allow configuring these options. Say something like indent number. I'm not sure what the correct name is here. Then we could forward that. And in the case of regular call, we set maybe -1 as a default. I'm just making something up here. Why does this not work? Because, oh yeah, extension method. And we could then have a constructor that allows forwarding this indent numbers. That's definitely a terrible name, rename. Because that's a public API, naming should be good. This does not reveal what it is, but we'll come to that later. And we could then forward. There was something like an indent size. Okay, that's the better word. Indent size. That's what we should be using. And forward it here as well. And we saw what was the default 2. Okay. But in our test, we could now say four. What we could also do is maybe expose these JSON serializer options, but then we are revealing some implementation details. There's pros and cons to everything, but yeah, that's a thought of how we design our APIs. And that must be a comma, not a semicolon. Now the spacing should be right. And our results should be getting quite close already. So we see the schema, okay. What's now wrong? Oh, $schema. Okay, cool. I actually don't know how with JSON serialize. I think we need to add some property there. Is it JSON name or something? JSON property name, which is now, oh, you left. But I see that, Eva's internet's gone. So we can't, okay, field. So let's apply this onto the backing field, or this should be property. So yeah, what I'm trying to do here. We want to have $1 here before this name, but this would not be valid a dollar in a name is not valid C# identifier. So we need to override this. And I think this is done via the JSON property name property. But we have here a record. And a record is turning, this is actually a parameter. But this parameter is turned into a property. But the JSON property name cannot be put on a parameter. It's only allowed on properties and fields. How do we set this property now on the auto-generated backing property that is created by the compiler? Well, we set the attribute target explicitly and say, well, we could say the default now, this is a parameter. This is param as the attribute target, but we can set this to property. And this way, if we compile that, yeah, Eva's gone. She's trying to Eva's gone. She's trying to reconnect. If we build that and take a look at the low-level C#, we now see that Eva joined. Okay, still connecting back in our streaming tool. We should see that this property is now applied to where are the properties, schema, there it is, onto the property. If I were writing field here, then this property would be applied to the backing field of this schema. So which would be, where is it? This auto-generated backing field. You're back, yes.
Hello. Sorry. Technical difficulties as always. What did I miss?
The internet provider is not recommending themselves, aren't they?
I don't honestly think it's the internet provider's problem. It's this flat. For those of you who've been with us for a while, I did move. You probably noticed it, and this is like a hole. There is a hole in Vienna, and it's where I'm at right now. So yeah, but I also changed browsers, so hopefully this should help as well. SteamYard suggested it, so I thought I'd try.
I see. Cool. What we were missing? Well, our output expects this dollar for the name, but this is not a valid C# identifier. We can't write dollar here. For that, we need this attribute, JSON property name. But since we have a record, we can't put the property here, the attribute, because this is a parameter that is then turned into a property with a backing field. So we need to set the attribute target explicitly. What is it currently doing? This is what implicitly is happening. We're setting this attribute on this parameter name. And you could explicitly say param here. But the JSON property name attribute is only allowed on properties and fields. So how can we put it onto the auto-generated property of this record? Well, actually, record class. I like being explicit. We can say property here. And if I want to put it on the backing field, we could say field here to explicitly state the target of the attribute, not use the implicit default. And with that, because previously the test was failing because of the missing dollar, now the test should be passing because we override essentially the name. And this did not work, and that's embarrassing. JSON property name. Does it need to be property? I was not talking a whole lot, and then it doesn't work. It's embarrassing.
Whoops.
Yeah, okay. JSON property name doesn't work on a field. Because it would be working if we don't have a property, if it was only a field. But per default, we only look at properties, not at fields. So yeah, we need to put it on the property. Cool. And now we are even closer. well, we said we let out some information. So let's for now remove this info as well. Let's also for now remove the commands that we then later on, we would just do the same again in a recursion. We just would do the top, the subcommands, get their name and their arguments with their options. So we then just would do a loop over all of that. But let's see if the basic functionality is working. And it is not quite. So the aliases are not working as we would hope they do. Because it seems that the standard serializer is now putting this also in a new line. So we see the -h, get an opening, and I guess it would be here. The question is, I'm not sure if JSON serializer allows, I'm not sure how to configure the JSON since we say white indented to tell it, don't indent erase it true. There might be some option. There's definitely some way to do it. I just don't know it. So for this is then also a to-do to actually get this done as the spec is suggesting. But for now, if we would put it into a new line, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I suppose if we format it as our current civilization, this is then how we need to steer our civilization. Oh, it even has a comma. Oh, because we have more. We actually have more aliases.
Yep.
There is also dash dash, what's that? Dash question mark and slash question mark, isn't it? So the example we got from the spec was not.
Yeah.
Yeah?
I think so.
No, not quite. So this is dash h. Yeah, I think I'm just messing up the order here.
Oh.
Then we got the dash question mark. Okay. This might be it. So it's either /h or dash question mark. And dash question mark. Oh, there's another one. I don't know. I can't even properly type. I don't know. I always have a typo. Maybe I need a new keyboard. Okay, there is the slash question mark as well. This might be it. Okay, description, display help, show help, and usage. Okay, now some descriptions are off. But why? Oh, display help. Wait, how is that off? Didn't we copy this in? Display help. Oh, yes. Okay, my bad. The command, the default command of system text JSON adds this help option automatically. So I guess ours is just ignored. I guess there is a way to disable this auto help generation, but I guess we could just, yeah. We would now kind of whatever the text, well, let's fix that quickly. We should get it. Let's just debug in here. While we're touching the debugger, oh yes, it is indeed getting quite dark in our, we see it at your, oh, we see that your screen and mine over there, yeah.
Yeah.
Are we more east? Yes, yeah, in Vienna we're quite east, yeah. I don't want to give away your location, but yeah. Not too much doxing. Help. Show help, and so that's actually coming from system text JSON. But now we might be quite close. Okay. There is also a version. because it
What?
also automatically adds a version.
Oh,
I forgot about that. So we would need to update this. There's a -- version, which I'm not sure will display. I guess there's also a way to disable the auto version and auto help generation, but yeah, we could also update the expected text version. Oh, now there's 2 helps, so we need to remove the other help. Show version information. And remove the extra help. But now the test might, probably not, but might pass.
why not?
But I think we are now just, okay, now now there is empty aliases. So we would need to configure our deserializer to not deserialize empty arrays. Maybe if we make that nullable and say if this array, how could we do that? If aliases, well, it's a collection, right? We could say if aliases has a count of 0. If it's empty, we say null. Otherwise, we true await. This way we could get rid of empty arrays. But after that, I think we will stop because we are essentially now just struggling with the configuration of our serializer. Okay, now it says null. I guess we need to say ignore null values, which apparently is obsolete. Anyway, but the basic functionality is working. Now I want to just quickly cover what Laszlo was alluding at.
Yes.
If I find the comment, that the JSON serialization context and source generators. So the version that we have here is very much based on reflection. And if we now enable, actually, did we do that in our library? Not yet, but we would definitely want to make our library AOT compatible. Those are the AOT analyzers. Is AOT not publish AOT? Publish AOT is for applications, but you can mark libraries as being AOT compatible. Need to find that option. .NET AOT. Publish AOT, that's for applications. Is AOT compatible? There's also an option for trimming. Not publish trimmed, but enable trim analyzers. But yeah, if AOT is including trimming. If we only want to have trimming but not AOT, then we could enable trimming individually, but AOT is already including trimming. So if we build this now, we should get a warning that this is not trim friendly. Okay, there we go. So the first one requires unreferenced code. That means we are not trim friendly. So we have problem with trimming. When you have problem with trimming, we also have problems with native AOT. And the second warning says requires dynamic code. Dynamic code is emitted by the JIT compiler. But in native AOT, there is no JIT compiler. So yeah, this wouldn't work when we compile native AOT due to not being trim friendly and not being native AOT compatible, because this is using not only reflection, but I mentioned that this JSON serializer options, they internally also do some caching. and this caching is emitted with reflection.emit, which requires the just-in-time compiler. So the at runtime, they emit new code in order to make, if you reuse this JSON serialization options, subsequent serializations are faster because some caching is done onto this type. But this is new code being emitted at runtime, which we can't do in native AOT. Then it uses heavily reflection, which is not trim friendly. So we have a couple of problems here. But we can switch to source-generated version of this deserialization. But I always forget how this works, so I need to look it up in the documentation. Unless they expose it in the warning, what to do. No, they just mention, oh, use the overload that takes JSON type info. JSON serialization context. I think we need to define our own JSON serialization context, if I recall correctly, but let's just look it up in the documentation.
Yep.
.NET system.text.json source-gen. We have our type, yes. So we define our own serialization context where we say which types are serializable. So let's have our internal sealed class. Actually, it's there already, right? Now this is partial, so that the source generator can emit some code, and we will put in both of our record types. Now, of course, since it's source generated, how do we pass the options? Well, they are now up here. Because this options type is heavily reflection based. So we do white intended. We could, okay, we have troubles now with our intent size, but yeah, I don't think we can make this dynamic. Anyway, we could respect nullable annotations. And what was the other one? Null value, no. Where's the options? So there we go. Ignore null values, but they don't seem to be on the source generator. Anyway, now what a source generator is generating is an instance that we can now pass instead. So I think in here we say .default. No, we don't. Stream, writer, or does it go via? I need to check the docs. Source generation default. So, and then we pass in the type. Okay. Root. Now we see that the warnings have disappeared. There is no more warning about violating trimming, no more warning about violating AOT, because this is now all generated. So we see this is in some .g.cs. So we have a source generator component that is part of system.text.json that is now generating this serialization for us, and it's all at compile time. All the complexity is compile time. So this is also as fast as it can be. Because previously, we have reflection. You need to do a lot of reflection. Well, it was doing caching, but the first one would be slow. Then some new code would be emitted so that subsequent calls are faster. This is also very much how regex is working. Have you used the regex options? There is something like regex options.compiled. Have you maybe used them before?
No.
This is essentially doing this. No. This is essentially doing the same thing. So if we have regex, if we would create a regex, we search for A or B or C. and we pass in the regex options.compiled. Now the first time we do a match, would be slow because the first time it's also emitting via the just-in-time compiler some new code that makes subsequent calls faster. You could not have this at all. Now every invocation is, well, when I say slow, it's not really slow, but it's not as fast because this is now using the interpreter. So the regex is essentially one, and the logic of the regex is kind of used every time or figured out every time. The interpreted version. We have the compiled version that the first one takes more time because it runs the interpreter, but also caches some internal information via the just-in-time compiler. The new code is emitted, and then for subsequent ones is reused to be faster. But if we use a source generator, we don't do this, what the just-in-time compiler would do at the first invocation at runtime. We would already do it at build time when we say .NET build. So the first invocation is already as fast as it gets. And then there is no reflection. And there is no just-in-time compilation. Well, that's not quite correct, but no cheating. No dynamic code. That's the word I was trying to figure out. No dynamic code. So no new code is emitted that we can't do without the just-in-time compiler in a native AOT scenario. So the first one is fast, and we're also compatible with native AOT. Long story short. Okay, and let's see if it actually still runs. And pass the options as an attribute too. I'm not sure what that means. Okay, well, we again have the spacing thing. I guess we can't make it configurable now, but we could say in our JSON serialization context, I think they should have an indent size of 4. But there is some other options. I don't think we can make this dynamic, I don't think. Since this is a compile time, how does the compile time know what the user is passing at build time? But yeah, we're now back at the error that we had earlier. But yeah, pass the options as an attribute too. I'm afraid, I'm not sure what you mean, Laszlo. Could you elaborate? Or was this a bit of an older comment that I'm seeing just now? Anyway, this would be pretty much it. So the to-do would be to set the indentation to 4. Ah, yeah. Oh, this is what I was just doing. Okay, yeah. Set the indent size to 4. So yeah, with the source generator version, we can't make this configurable. So theoretically, we could add like a default option that is reflection free. And we could also have the previous option that is not reflection free, but then forward the warning. So essentially say on this one that requires the indent size, where we could make it more dynamic, we could say requires dynamic code and requires unreferenced code. We would forward the same ID as the internal ones. So we could now, if we decide, hey, what do we want to do? Do we want to only allow the like static version where we define the options, or do we allow users to pass the options? Where we could say, hey, we even allow for the user to pass JSON serialization options. But this one definitely requires unreferenced code and dynamic code, so this wouldn't work in an AOT scenario. So our library could offer both. So pick the thing that we do, or provide your options, but then don't be AOT compatible. I guess so the option is always do both. And then we would kind of do the same again, but not for the OpenCLI schema. So maybe we would call this then add or with OpenCLI schema. I guess this would be the proper name, OpenCLI. And then we would have another overload that says with Microsoft CLI schema, something like that.
Yeah.
And we would essentially do more or less, we would do the same again, but then have a different structure in order to, that's what we did earlier. That's a full .NET schema of the entire .NET 10.0.302 SDK. So that has all the options like also, what do we do a lot? Tool, where you have subcommands, where you can install a tool and install it in a -- global fashion. And we will essentially, we see the serializer that they use is formatting arrays like that. So what we had, the array formatting, would work there. So essentially do a lot of stuff again, and then we could publish this. Then we will publish this as a NuGet library for people who want to include something like a CLI schema or OpenCLI specification to their system.command line based applications.
Awesome. And when are we going to do that? What is it?
That's a very good question. Before we come to that, there was one comment I wanted to highlight, but I forgot. No, I didn't forget, but I need to find it. Because I really like this comment, because this is kind of the core of our stream. Laszlo really likes that we not just prompting, but we're actually doing it. So kind of, what's the phrase? To show how the sausage is made? Is this
yeah, I don't know if that's a phrase, but that's basically what we do, yeah.
But then we also make a lot of mistakes and a lot of schlecht.
Typos and a lot of... No, I would say today was not schlecht.
So you're saying it was gut?
I didn't say that. That's a very, very Austrian thing to say. It's not good. It's just not bad. But yeah.
That's right. We don't say, if there is a saying, I don't know how to translate this properly. Not cursing at something is no. Not saying bad to something is saying it's good enough. Yes, it's praise enough. So not cursing something is praise enough. Yeah. Nicht geschimpft ist Lob genug. Ja. Is this a German thing or is this an Austrian thing?
I don't know. I guess probably many people say that in many different languages, but I've mostly heard it here, but I've also only mostly been here. So
cool. So it was nicht schlecht.
Nicht schlecht.
Excellent. Well, that's all we can ask for, isn't it?
That's all we can ask for.
Cool. Oh yeah, when will be the next time? So we'll be back in a week on next Wednesday at the same time, but we will not be to coding, will we?
We'll be continuing on our mission with It Takes Two on our to play or not to play stream. Also at this point, you should take a moment and like and subscribe this stream on any of your preferred social medias, just because we will be picking up where we left off on the next coding stream as well. But since it will not be the one next week, do take a moment to subscribe to our channels, because we'll be posting when that will continue as well. And at this point, I also want to thank all of our regulars who always show up for us. And it really, really warms my heart to see you all back here with us. And obviously, if you've seen us for the first time, I hope you liked it. And if you have any comments or questions, reach out to us. We always love to hear from you. And yeah.
There's another comment that is melting my heart a little bit. Seelenbalsam, yeah. You're very, very welcome. We're glad you liked it.
All right.
Then I wonder, since I messed up the intro, I wonder how I'm gonna mess up the outro. But yeah, there's always room for improvement. So on the 29th of July, we'll be back.